I'll first introduce myself. I'm Komal Nahta. I'm a film trade analyst, and that explains the presence of two very big names in the film industry. On my extreme left is Mr. Ashutosh Gowariker. He needs no introduction. Lagaan, Jodha Akbar. I mean, top films, historicals, extravagant budgets, and huge super hits. Mr. Nitin Seth also needs no introduction. You'll have just attended one session with Soha Ali Khan. He's an accomplished author, and his latest book, Human Edge in the AI Age, it's caught people's fancy. Unfortunately, our guests haven't read it because the time was too short, but they promised to read it, and he has impressed us in the last 5 minutes talking about how artificial intelligence is going to impact films and film people. So while we are shivering in our pants, we'll pretend that we are all set. On my extreme right is Mohit Suri. All I need to say is Sanyara and you can start dancing. Nothing else matters. Sanyara is the flavor of the season, and therefore Mohit Suri is the flavor of the man of the season. I'll begin by asking Nitinji, if you can tell me, how is artificial intelligence from the business point of view and from the technical point of view, how is it going to impact or affect the entertainment industry?
So, Komalji, AI is a huge force, okay? And AI is basically impacting every industry, and I think that is also going to be the case for the entertainment industries in 4 dimensions. The 4 dimensions are, number 1, personalization. Now, over the course of the industrial age, scale has meant standardization. Yeah, we create a movie for many. Yeah, we have education, we have a class, the class is for many. We have a drug, the drug, is for many. But as humans, we are different. Yeah. Now the AI and digital and data, these 3 things coming together is enabling personalization at scale. So I think that is something, which is going to impact, is impacting every industry. Now today, when you go to Amazon.com or you go to Netflix, the recommendations that maybe Mohit sees and you see might be different, isn't it? That is personalization, and that personalization which is happening very efficiently in retail, in many other industries, in financial services, is I think going to happen in entertainment as well. The second big thing is automation. That if you look at the process of doing anything, now entertainment is very creative, but end of the day, it is also a process. Whether it is script writing, whether it is production, different, these are all processes, and I think there is an opportunity of automating many of those. Yeah, and that automation with AI. See, technology has always meant automation, but with AI, the magnitude of automation is very significant. Second, the automation is not just in the basic repetitive task, but also in the high-end tasks. So very interestingly, the impact of AI is not just on the blue-collar worker jobs, but on the knowledge worker jobs. So much so that for every single blue-collar worker job lost over the next 5 years, 10 knowledge worker jobs are going to be lost. Now, how exactly that plays out in the entertainment industry, I don't know fully. But I would think that automation in your processes is going to be a factor for entertainment as well. The third thing that AI is driving is innovation. So a lot of the innovation today, so AI is not just an output of innovation, AI is also driving innovation. And I think that will, now what shape that takes for entertainment, I don't know. Yeah. So, I was thinking that, would we have a new vision for entertainment or movies, which is a lot more interactive with the audience? where it is not like one movie, but it is, the movie is being personalized, as per the individual, and the movie is being co-created. I don't know. I'm not the, all of you are the experts, but I think, the AI is a very big factor in innovation. Yeah. And the fourth factor, the fourth impact which is happening across industries is on business models. The business models, across industries are changing. So one of the shifts that's happening with AI is what's called disintermediation. That, you have a channel. You call it B2B, B2B2C. It is there in your industry as well.
Yes.
And across industries, with digital and AI, it is becoming more B2C. It is becoming more B2C. Yeah. It is, I would think that will have some implications, on this industry as well. Increasingly, there is a collision of value chains. That, the value chains, are colliding. So I'll give you an example of financial services. I work with a lot of large banks in the world. So JP Morgan is not afraid of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is not afraid of Bank of America, because they have known each other for 100 years. Right. Yeah, they know how each other operate. They are not even afraid now of the fintechs. Yeah, they are afraid of Google. They are afraid of Apple. They are afraid of Amazon, because they have something more than what the banks have, which is specific data. So again, I don't know about your industry, but what I'm seeing in most industries is that the competition is not coming from within the industry. The competition is coming from somewhere outside the industry. Yeah. And the final point I would make on business models is, this AI native business models. Yeah, where the product is very AI driven, where the process is AI driven, where the number of humans involved is very less. Yeah. And there is a lot of conversation today about billion dollar enterprises with like single person. Yeah. So, and increasingly in industries, see, the single person $1 billion may be some distance away. Yeah. But this creation of AI native business models, and a couple of years back when I wrote my first book, Winning in the Digital Age, my basic thesis was that in industries, the incumbent still has an advantage. And if they do a few things well, they adopt digital technologies well, they will do well. But my thesis here is that AI is such a disruptive force. AI is not incremental. AI is not just business as usual, that it is not the incumbent. It is likely to be an AI native business, which is likely to win. So I'll stop here. There are a number of concepts I've shared.
Thank you for this, Ashutosh. Having heard him, and of course, I'm sure we all are cognizant of the advent of AI and how AI might impact. We are not sure of how they will impact. Hearing Nitin, what do you think it's imminent, and how fast will it affect us, and how could it affect filmmakers especially?
Well, first of all, good afternoon, and apologies for not having read the book before coming here. I think that for me, AI is a welcome thing. I would like to embrace it, because if you don't, then you're going to be left behind. You have to only think of how you want to use it to your advantage, to your business's advantage. Now, the 4 points that you said are very, very interesting. I was not aware of them. The way you put it out was very, very interesting. I think that any data-based industry will definitely benefit from it. But the film industry, our creative business, I'm saying, is not a very, it is data-based also, but it is more about emotions. It is more about, when we think about a story idea, we start with the first basic question, we start imagining. We start saying, what if? What if there is a village of farmers who play a game of cricket? What if a guy comes back and revisits his roots? That's your first starting point. And that has a lot of emotions. So come what may, AI for the movie business can give us a lot of these story ideas, and it can throw us, situations and all of that, but it can never give us information which is based on what is going to be heartfelt, what is going to connect with an audience. So that human aspect of our creativity will still remain intact. Of course, just to close it on that is, earlier my research would take me, say, 3 years, 4 years, because it involved me to go to Asiatic Library, it involved me to go somewhere else, go to Jaipur, go to all these, and try and collate all that information. It used to take 2 years. Now it takes 3 seconds. And it's all very
Easily
certified,
available and accessible.
Yeah. But still, that's information. I still need to take it in and create my own emotions attached with it. So I think that how we have AVGC today, which is animation, VFX, gaming, and comics, I think a new wing will get added to that, which will be AI. Which means content which is created by AI. It's like how we look at animation movies. When you go to see animation movies and we're seeing it about, desert monsters, or we are watching about penguins, we know that this is not a real world. We know it's an animation world, but we connect because of the story. Similarly, AI films will get made, which will be very different from the movies that we make, very different from animation films. So that's what I think will be the future for the movie business.
Mohit, he said that AI films will be made. One AI film has already been made by a talent agency. Okay. So do you agree with Ashutosh that it may not impact and disrupt the film industry, the entertainment industry as much as the other industries? Or is there something to fear?
So, good afternoon. I had the chance to have a brief conversation with you before we came up here, and that got me thinking, I think. And, in any art form, especially in filmmaking, which is, an art form which has got many different, like photography in it, there's styling in it, there's so many different departments of art within one separate art form. I think that was an evolution by itself. And as we say, has technology changed? It changes the art form also, and it changes the business model also. Like, for example, there were silent films, sir. And then we figured out a science of making sound run at 24 frames per second. And then the great Charlie Chaplin, who had done silent films, refused to change. He still did well, but then when the emotion also changed with the technology, when sound and music came into it. And then you came into color. And then the business grew, film business grew. Then you came into color, I think. And there were, I think, Charlie Chaplin, some people refused to go to color. And that was the new thing. And then the business grew even more. And then the screen sizes grew. And so I think what I will agree with Nitin, it is a technology change that is going to come in, which is going to make the business grow, especially in the thought process for sure. I mean, a little bit that I could understand from the 5-minute conversation that we had. I think, but I also agreed with Ashu, so that I think, the kind of way which we tried to break the topic, and I actually want to know your insight on it. I do completely agree there's a tendency, and I'm saying this with myself coming first, that we get so insulated in our worlds, we think this is what the audience thinks is what they want, and we make films in offices. Very few people like Ashu, I know, is one person who's so detailed about history and dates and everything, but I know a lot of people just sit in the offices and say, that's my conviction, that's my film, without having a real touch with the people. Like, even when they say, this is what youngsters like, and this is what none of them are young. I mean, I'm 3 myself. So no one knows that. I think there it definitely would help.
But you know something.
No, I know till the next.
You know something so much well, well.
See, the thing is, everyone knows till the next.
But Ashu, that applies to you also.
Yes, 100%. But what I want to know is I actually don't have an answer for this, and I am also dabbling with it, and so there is fears associated with it. I'm sure the black and white cinema people were scared when this color cinema came in. We've seen movies about that, right? And when talkie came in and sound was going out and all. So I understand there is a fear that filmmakers are feeling that they will not be able to bend around the curve. But I know we need to. It is like I've been trying to dabble with it with writing or visual stuff like that. I haven't gotten completely into it. It's too new. But what I want to know is, and I don't have an answer for this, is so that invariably when you make a film or a song, and Ashu sir can, and even sir will know this, what might work today will not be something that will be working a year later, sir. So how do you, because I know AI does processing from what information is already, what history has already happened. I think as a species, I read in another book, I'm sorry I'm talking about it, that we've been a species that's evolved on storytelling. We told lies, we told myths, and that's how generations kept growing. Sapiens, yeah. So we survived because we had stories and a better tomorrow, or a myth to live for, or an ideal to live for. How do you preempt that with it? I have no idea how to do that. How do you, because that needs one visionary thought process person. And don't you need those people still?
If I may,
I'm not saying this is the right way. I don't know.
No. It's very interesting set of thoughts, Mohit and Ashu, both from you. See, a couple of points I will make, Komal, if that's
Sure.
okay. See, first is that we should, just the way we approach AI,
Totally, yeah.
is that we should not demonize it.
Totally.
That's the greatest self-goal we can possibly make.
Which is where your book comes into play, na? Because once we
तो
read your
वो
book,
जो
we'll
पहला
realize.
सवाल जो है ना कि are you afraid? देखो, all of us are afraid of many things, ठीक है? But doesn't mean that we don't embrace it. Yeah. So पहले तो वो बहुत ज़रूरी है कि see, this is something which is a mega trend. This is, I was making the point earlier when we were talking that this is not like, just internet or cloud or something like that.
This is bigger than that?
It is mega times bigger than that. It is like fire, like wheel,
amazing.
like locomotive, okay, electricity. It is that order of magnitude. So ये हो ही रहा है. This is the genie is out of the lamp. So as well embrace it. So I think that's point number one. Point number two I would make is that a lot of conversations around AI are framed as 0-1. As framed as 0-1. AI can do this and there is no need for human, or AI can't do it at all. Okay. Now, in most cases, the reality is somewhere in between.
Between 0 and 1.
In between 0 and 1. So, any process and a creative process, there are certainly aspects that AI can help with. And now, certainly this is a creative process, so the human edge as far as creativity goes is very high. And if you say what is going to be a durable, sustainable human edge in an era of machines, and when AI is even stronger, even 10, 15 years back, you would still say that creativity is a human edge. Yeah? But it doesn't mean it's 0-1. Yeah? So that's the second point I would make, because the moment you move, this framing the conversation either as dystopian, डिस्टोपियन की ये पता नहीं कोई भूत है जिससे सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा, और इट इज यूटोपियन कि नहीं बहुत अच्छा है, सब बहुत अच्छा है. द रियलिटी इज समवेयर इन बिटवीन. व्हेन वी टेक दैट प्रैक्टिकल व्यू, then we can do something about it. That's point number 2 I would make. Point number 3 I would make, and Ashutosh, something you mentioned about data versus emotions. And that is generally true for how machines work. Okay? But what is very interesting about where AI is that it's even hacked emotions. Okay? So, there is a lot that, if you look at human ability and IQ and EQ, that machines generally doing very well on IQ. And then you would say EQ is the human advantage. But there have been a lot of tests that, patients with online nursing, and the online nursing, a human nurse versus the AI nurse. And consistently, the AI nurse does better. As long as the patient doesn't know that this is AI. Okay? And why is that? Why is that? Because AI is able to break down the emotions and mimic. It can mimic. ChatGPT, the number one use case for ChatGPT today is companionship.
Oh, really?
Is companionship. I talk to ChatGPT because it is very validating. Mohit, you are great.
Yeah, she gives some great. What a super suggestion. That's a great idea. All the time. She's damn nice. Huh?
You are amazing. You are amazing. So,
No, but sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you're right. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the emotion part is not in cinema.
Exactly. That is what I
It's
wanted
anywhere
to know.
else. It can be anywhere else.
Ashutosh, if I may put it in perspective, films, they say there are only 6 stories, or so many stories. But when a film does well, there is something that is different. Now, will AI be able to get that something different for the film to run? Because otherwise, Bhed Chal or the herd mentality, one Sayyara runs and then 20 Sayyaras, 20 people attempt Sayyaras, but all the 20 Sayyaras fail thereafter. It's because he thought of something which differentiated his Sayyara from all the other love stories. Now, will AI be able to get that something different so that films don't flop?
Like, I'll just give my personal example. But 6 months, sorry, 1 year back, 1.5 years back, there was, after COVID, there were only action films and South films. Like, nothing wrong with that. I watched all of them. But the point is, at that time, I realized I didn't have the budget or the resources to make a film that way. And I thought, no matter what I shouted out loud, it would always get dumbed out in the noise. If I probably went to AI at that time and said, what's a good kind of film to make in today's Indian environment? The suggestion probably would have been a similar film. But I felt that let me try doing something that no one else is doing. And even that at that time, the AI suggestion would have probably been launched even, I'm not saying again, but even, Amitji's grandson and were getting launched on OTT directly. That was the way, and with big directors. But that was the way to go at that time. But I just suddenly know there can be a film that people want to make for the theatre with new people. It is not what was the trend at that time. Will AI be able to preempt something that is 2 years later? I also couldn't. I just felt it. I just felt comfortable doing it. I don't know, so I'm asking.
So let me just come in there on that. I still think that AI cannot take over human emotion in cinema. Because the choice of, you can get several options, but finally as a human, you'll have to make the choice of what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't think, so that's what I'm saying. But the reason why I'm saying AI will be another stream of cinema, devoid of film and animation, is exactly because of that.
Huh?
To give you an example, when I'm talking about data versus emotion, you go to a pathological lab and you do these pathological tests and you have several tests and you don't have the time to, you don't have the time to meet the doctor to analyze that. You put those pathological tests, all the PDFs, one after the other in AI and ask it, think like you're the number one pathologist in the world and give me an assessment of the health. It gives you in 3 seconds. It tells you everything about what your entire, because it's data. But if you ask it...
But it also makes you feel you're dying, huh?
Yeah.
I've tried it.
Yeah.
I've tried it.
And
all the diseases and maybe a few hours and I'm dead.
Cancer and heart is in everything.
Yeah. Is in everything, yeah.
And it cannot tell you the medication for it. So for that, you'll have to still go to a doctor who knows your constitution, who knows your history, and advise you on what medication to take. So data, when I'm saying data, I mean that data is incredible. How stock markets function, that data is incredible. But does it know of what is happening in the different companies, the owners, their lifestyles? It doesn't. So it cannot predict. It cannot. So it will move arm in arm with us. I feel that's how it's going to proceed ahead.
You want to say?
Sorry, you wrote a book, but we are just giving our 2 bits.
Nitin, do you think? Do you think there'll be collaboration between tech firms and the filmmaking people? Filmmaking people relying on human emotions, the technology partners getting in AI, etc., and there'll be a good marriage and something great will come out of it in our films also.
I think there is a lot of technology that is going into movies already, and the point that Ashu made, about there will be a genre of films which are very, very technology driven. I also see that. My daughter is an artist; she's a painter and sculptor, and I have this argument with her all the time. There is going to be, there is the process of creation and there is the final output. And you will have likely output type of movies. Maybe it's a completely new genre of movies which are very, very AI technology driven, which may be this co-created, personalized, whatever, which is maybe 70% technology, 30% traditional movie making. And there would also be, I also, by the way, agree with you about this, the emotion bit, that you're dealing with very complex combination or pattern of emotions. which bringing them together, it requires that instinct. It requires that pattern recognition. It's a very complex pattern recognition, which may be at this point difficult for machines to break down. Yeah. But I absolutely I see it. That there will be. It's possible that there is. You have a new genre of very technology driven.
Can I add 3 films to this? There are 3 movies. We have all seen the 3 films. According to me, these 3 films are the inception of AI. They are not AI films. They are made. But that's the world we liked and we went into. We didn't know who the stars were. That's Dune, Mad Max, and Matrix.
Yeah.
We don't understand that world, but we are just involved in it and we go with it. So that's like a precursors to our AI. Now films will get made easier. If Matrix got made in 500 million, an AI film might cost lesser. And the world will still be a completely different world. So I think I'm just giving a submission on that the process has begun. AI is going to become a tool that fastens that process now.
See, I'll just make one more point to something that Mohit mentioned. See, the progression of AI or analytics is the following. It is first level is descriptive, which is what has happened. Yeah. The second level is diagnostic. Why did it happen? Which is the research. The third is predictive. Yeah. What will happen? And as you said, that things which are very data driven. Yeah. So it is all predictive. So when you go and swipe your card, there is a predictive model, which is playing there. Yeah. That should Komal be offered this credit or not. So predictive happens. Predictive analytics is lot. But when you are dealing with complex emotions, that predictive may be more difficult. The fourth level of AI, which is where AI is, right, is prescriptive. That you have done, gone through all of this, you have predicted, and you are actually acting on it. Yeah. So it's quite interesting that I think the entertainment industry is probably at some kind of a curve. Probably is going to be in a very extreme corner because it is dealing with very subtle, very complex human emotions. But the flow of AI is the following. It is descriptive, so it is about the past, which you were saying. And then it is going to diagnostic, which is the research. And you also talked about it, Ashutosh, that about research and how the process of research can become more efficient. But it is certainly going to predictive and prescriptive. So it's going to, I don't know the answer to that. No. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting that, in kind of very, unique industries like movie making and entertainment, which are very different from banking or telecom and so on, how this predictive and prescriptive aspects play out.
Sorry, I'm bringing up another book. There's a book called Free Economics that I read about. And I just think the human trend, and now I'm not talking about my own industry also, but there was this whole belief that the government used many researches, a lot of research to find out what would stop population growth, and they did all that. And then suddenly, without doing anything, the population growth rate started going down because they realized cable television had come into India. And suddenly people, rather than procreating in the night, were watching Saas Bahu serials. And that suddenly changed the way. So the first thing I did is bought my driver, because he had 2 kids. I bought him a TV at home and a connection. First thing I did, because I was like, watch TV. That's better. But see, I think that's why I brought this conversation up, is while you predict something, your prediction is based on past. Even I think, sir, we do predict, like this is an action film, this should have this kind of audience. We do predict that too. I understand this prediction, but the way the human mind and heart works, something changes. And prediction, which was started off, like human tastes change, like even in fashion. No one, if you told people 3 years back, people would be wearing torn, tattered jeans, ragged like this. It's almost will be like a homeless person, but that's high fashion today, I think. So I think these things do, the human heart and mind, doesn't it change? And if your consumption, I can understand projecting profits and sales and this.
It is, that's the interesting bit, that
you don't know what some other industry might do that might change your.
The very interesting that See the nature of models. See what you're describing is exactly how historically it has played out.
Yes.
Okay, but the technology that's being built over the last 10 years, which is now the heart of what is called generative AI, is something called neural networks. Okay, where the way that technology is constructed is to almost mimic the structure of our brain.
Yes.
Okay?
But almost. Almost.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the distinguishing feature.
No, it is almost. It is not there. It is not the human brain, and the human brain is it's too complex.
Complex,
We
yeah.
don't even understand that. See, the thing that I'm trying to emphasize is that what we are talking about is history. Okay? जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, that is how the models were. Okay? Now, science is progressing in making those models lot more human-like. The way generative AI or ChatGPT works, it is predicting all the time. Okay? It is predicting and it is making leaps of faith all the time. And that is the reason it hallucinates. If it was working only on data, it would not hallucinate. Right. It is actually making a leap of faith. So this technology is not there today. Okay? It's not there today. So at this point, we can say, look, on this, when we are dealing with complex things which are into the future, the human mind, the human being has a decided edge. I'm just trying to share with you that where technology is going, that going forward, all the direction of technology is to continue to build more and more subtle intelligence into the way machines operate.
Ashu, let me ask you a question. Suppose you were given access to AI when you were making Lagaan. Offhand, can you think where you would use it during the making of Lagaan?
See, if I had asked you the question for Lagaan, it would have said, don't make the film. Because its analysis would have said, कि ये तो सब bizarre है, ये मत कर.
I
But
remember
I'll tell you-
many reviews at that time, Lagaan, they mentioned distributors. I spoke to distributors when I was writing the review, and thankfully I didn't heed their advice. They said, "अरे कोमल जी, आज jeans के ज़माने में धोती वाला हीरो कहाँ से चलेगा?"
No, I think no sports film ever did well before this. It's a small town. Suddenly we were going multiplex at that time, and everyone was shooting abroad at that time. And there was nothing.
There was nothing
Not
which was
exactly.
which was in
Like-
favor of the film doing well.
Like love stories have still come in. This was a very new, out of the box kind of changing
sorry.
cinema thing.
But I'll tell you what I would have used it on. So I'm in a film called Mohenjo-daro, and I had 7 archaeologists from all over the world who had worked at the Indus civilization cities for 30 years. So they all came in and we did all these long sessions. We imagined how the city, since the city is now only bricks and only plinth size, we have to reimagine that if it was existing and if the walls were standing, what would have been the walls, what would have been the roof. Based on all that research for 2 years, we built the city and we made the film. I wish AI was at my disposal at that point in time, because it would have just imagined what the city would look like and would have given me multiple options to choose from and make the right choice there. Still, I would say the human emotion will come into play. Still, maybe the film might not have worked. That's different, because that's story. that's emotion, that's drama, that's a story. But I would have got several more options to build that. And I look forward to using AI for something like this, when you're creating a new world, because that's the option it gives you.
And I won't even ask Mohit if Sayyara mein AI was available. His entire second half would fall like a pack of cards, because his AI would tell him where the heroine is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only research I could get from the net was only 0.04% of them can get Alzheimer's at that age. I don't know if they had so many people to even AI to actually. So I just went with that. I mean, I just gave a new word to Yaddash ho gayi hai and called it Alzheimer's in today, but it's been done 100 times before. So I'm not denying the fact. But I mean, I just want to add in a little thing. Like we have a great technical team, and I think the first time a professional team came into India was actually thanks to Ashu sir, and they did things like that. And sir, I mean, this is personally, there will be a assistant or cameraman do their job. Everything will come right. But sometimes we even that one slightly out-focused take because it's not right, it's not perfect, it's right. Something feels right in that. And you'll be surprised, sir, that is the take that somebody will applaud in the theater. They say, what a shot that is. And that's where the filmmaker sits with himself and said, I went with my conviction. There are a lot of times where we do this and it doesn't land. It doesn't land. But the thing is, this, I think what he's trying to say is sometimes the error, the imperfect thing is actually the right way to go in a film. And that is something, how do you tell them to make mistakes? Can you train the AI to have error or make a mistake or be imperfect? And like, I mean, I'm not saying this being from a director thing. If everyone did their job, I don't think there would be a director on the set. If everyone just acted, camera and put up his shots. I mean, everyone writer writes. Yeah. We are on the set say, I don't want this. I want this, which I think AI does give you that option too. But I think what we get paid for, I think, I mean, he's a producer also, I'm not, but is for the things we don't allow.
Yeah. See, it's actually, listening to both of you is, actually, very fascinating for me, because, in your work, you are truly using the human edge. You are actually taking it to a point, which is beyond what AI certainly can do today.
So it's only human resource management, I'm telling you.
Because it's kind of bringing that creativity and that instinct and that pattern recognition in a very, very interesting way. And perhaps, there's an opportunity that, how do you bring, this thinking and process into more traditional industries? Because the challenge today in a traditional industry like retail or banking is if the same data is available to everybody, and if the same models are there, and they're so well researched, how do you differentiate? Yeah. So it's a very interesting, just listening to you, and I come from a very different world.
No, I understand.
So it's that wow, this, in our world, in the world of, technology or consulting or banking and
or
so
data.
Or data, we don't, we have not, it's kind of gone too much to one side of the brain or too much to, and therefore it is very, very, prone to getting disrupted and commoditized by AI. And, how do you bring more of that, true human edge? It's an interesting question.
So do you think, after hearing their perspectives, do you think that AI in the entertainment industry may not be able to be as disruptive as probably in other industries?
See, again, my basic thesis is don't get stuck in 0-1.
No, I think we will, but I think it will be disruptive like color and sound was. I think.
See, I think what I'm hearing from both Ashu and Mohit, and I think the point he made about Lagaan versus Mohenjo-daro was brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant, and it's so relevant. It's so relevant, because exactly the power of AI is research. And again, the point you're making, that things which are dealing with the past, it can do better. Things which are about predicting, because the what you're predicting here is not based on data, but based on more complex inputs. Emotion in this case is more difficult. So anything which is about the research, or your script process, if it takes X months or whatever, how do you maybe bring efficiency to it? So I think the production process, I would think that there is efficiency to be got. Yeah?
Through AI.
There is also the opportunity which Ashu spoke about, that there could be a completely new genre of films, of entertainment, which may come up. But the overall concept of a movie, which is why it works, which is where, you're essentially placing a bet. Yes. Where you're essentially placing a bet, by bringing together a lot of complex things, for the foreseeable future, because AI will be good at telling you what will not work.
Yes.
AI is a good critique, yeah, but it may not be able to tell you a winning formula.
Can I just add some small thing?
Sure.
When we write scripts, usually, or a novelist, let's take all the books that we have here, all the authors. When they write the first draft, when they first write it's sent to their friends, their family, their parents, and everyone gives a response. So even in scripting, we have that method where we narrate it to people and we get response. In AI now, in the search engine, in AI's chat GPT, for example, if I put in my script and say analyze it for me, it quickly gives you a 3-act structure analysis and tells you that your script is not working at all. Even if it's an emotional script, the AI never tells you that I had moments of emotions I felt in this particular scene, because it's not supposed to feel emotion. So while you do that, you take technical aspects and the technical learnings of that analysis, you keep it still. I'll have to go and narrate it to Mohit or a Komal or someone from here and look into their eyes and look whether they are getting tearful.
And look at the body language and how
you're reacting, because that is what is going to actually help us make the film, not the analysis. So I think even in the economic aspect that you're seeing, in the numbers, with data, you'll have to still go and narrate it to someone कि इसमें invest करूँ कि नहीं करूँ.
Mohit, any last words before I throw it open to the house?
I actually want to ask, how do you start? Like, what is the right way to embrace AI? I mean, I think everyone...
I think Nitin will be able to.
Yeah, I think that's... What is the right way for... After hearing us out, I actually want to ask this as a question, because the way I look at it, as I said, and maybe that's the defining thing that you said to me, it's like fire and the wheel. It's not like the wheel didn't reinvent and people didn't make but it was a change of how we got from one place to another, how we ate food, everything. So I think what he's saying is right, it could be a disruptor in our personal lives in many other ways, and we need to work. But where do we start? How do we start what is right for us?
See, I think there are two starting points. The first starting point, the easiest starting point, is to develop some familiarity with the tools, with the AI tools. So of course there is ChatGPT, but it is not limited to ChatGPT. Exactly. It is the most basic. There are number of, if you go to something called Amazon Bedrock today, you have more than 150 LLMs available. ChatGPT is one of them. So, and there are very, very specialized LLMs available, which are for dealing with, not just text, but dealing with videos, dealing with images, dealing with sound. So the first thing is that you yourself or, people in your team need to become familiar with the tools, because the nature is such that when you see the tool, that also sparks ideas. Yeah. Generative AI is not equal to ChatGPT. It is just a start. Okay, it's the most basic form. It's the most basic form. The second thing.
So you know where we are, where the film people are. Still at the very basic stage.
Yeah. And one more thing, I mean, honestly, just if you can just address how do you handle, like, for example, a copyright issue? Like, I didn't generate it, the AI generated it, and it's similar to somebody else's. And how do you deal with those things?
See, the copyright issue with the copyright. See, this is evolving, yeah. and I think the notion of copyright is going to get weaker. Is going to get much weaker, because so far, the first set of cases has happened, yeah, and they are generally, the law has taken the argument of fair use, of fair use. Ki as long as the content that has been ingested by AI has been used as an input and is not reproduced in its entirety, it is fair use. It is like saying that there is a book. That if you have taken like entire chapter from my book and put it in your book,
it's a copyright
that's
issue.
A copyright violation. But that's not. But अगर आपने किताब पढ़ के और उसमें से कोई concept use कर लिया, which is effectively what AI is using, then you can't sue AI. So there is this, the entire notion of copyright.
No, what I meant is, if something Ashutosh works with an AI, but it's different tools, and it comes out with something. I work on a different, maybe we work on the same genre. Maybe we're both making a love story, and I work on something else. And there is something similar that I have fair use done here. And would you get into someone who came first, took it from whom? I mean, I don't know. I just, is it very individualistic? Like,
no, I think that's fair. But most times, the output of AI, you are doing something with it.
Yeah.
You are putting some
human touch.
Some human touch to it.
Human element.
So at this point, I think that copyright, issue has not is not the biggest issue being debated.
No, I'm worried like the producer just goes inside and says, give me a love story with this thing. And then all of us are jobless. And there is a film that comes out.
इस समय copyright का biggest issue है कि
You know, that won't happen. I'll tell you why. Because when you're asking whichever platform you're using, it's already thinking like you.
Around you. Yeah, okay.
So the permutation combination changes.
Yes.
And in our world, in our industry, we've had so many times similar films releasing, one after the other, same day release हो रहे हैं अलग अलग. So I think that's something that will constantly be there's another film coming out like Sayyara soon. You know, so there are वो तो अभी तो वो control नहीं कर पाए.
And I think to your question, ki where should we start? So the first part was tool. The second is, just map the flow of making the film. I think it will be a very good exercise to do that, and where is, you just stack rank, where is the time that is being spent and where is the money being spent. Yes. And there is some money, which is, I was looking at some release, that Akshay Kumar was 100 crores and everybody else was like 4 crores and something. So maybe that's not something you can do much about. But I'm sure, there is, you can, when you look at, where you're spending the money, where you're spending the time, as kind of the owner of it, as a producer director, you are the owner of it. You know that, this is a lot of money I'm spending here.
If I can save or if I can cut down.
If I can, and can I use AI to cut this down, that this is a part which is really, really value adding. This is, what is going to be a differentiator for my movie. But this is, ये बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा लग रहा है, या बहुत ज़्यादा समय लग रहा है. इसको if I can cut down, I think that will be a good, that will give you the, very clear, identification of where you may want to use AI to automate.
But there's, this one very famous thing that's happened in Avatar 2. There was a whole whale sequence where the studio head, because the length of the film, said, we need to cut this down. Why is it there in the film? So James Cameron said, because I effing want it in the film. and I remember my daughter had seen the film, found that scene the best scene when the whale comes back. And
So it was his conviction.
yeah, I think.
And so you choose. You choose. I think, this is such a subjective, the output is so subjective that you finally choose. But at least, give yourself that basic facts on which you can, you can yourself make the decision. Like, for example, your Mohenjo-daro reflection. That, you probably spend quite a bit of time and money on getting that together. See, research is one thing, that, and that's a big debate that is happening, that a PhD researcher, who was taking like 6 years for a PhD, uska research to ab 1 saal mein ho jayega. So, similarly, there would be, opportunities for you.
Well, to sum up, AI is, I wouldn't like to call it an animal. It is for real. The faster the film people also embrace it, it would be better. Having said that, it's also true that films may not be as impacted. As he said, there is something between 0 and 1. And probably the film industry or the entertainment industry will be closer to the 0 than to the 1. And as people, someone who has delivered flops all his life, he was telling me, ये artificial intelligence, AI, क्या बोलते हैं मेरे को तो समझ में नहीं आता है. Natural intelligence तो है ही नहीं हम में. तो artificial intelligence क्या? So anyway, the human edge in films will be definitely very, very important, and that is what distinguishes a hit from a flop, an emotional experience while watching a film from a film that leaves you emotionally totally disconnected. Nitin, it has been great conversing with you. Our minds have opened to the fact that we ought to be more cognizant of AI. Ashu and Mohit, thank you so much for bringing in the perspective of the film people. I'd like to ask you all, if you all have any questions for our 3 esteemed guests, you all can, you can take the mic. Please introduce yourself and then ask the question.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Zara Zaki, and I'm a senior marketing manager at one of the marketing agencies, and I work with a lot of different type of brands, from FMCGs to bigger brands, bigger banks in India. And what our agency like the briefs that we get, we are already creating AI films. Not as big as Jodha Akbar, but again, we are creating films, and that is also kind of eliminating the actors that we require, like bigger influencers or one main macro influencer and then tiny small influencers. We are already pushing that, and we are getting amazing response from the audience. Like there have been times that people are not able to make out that this is an AI generated film or an actual actor acting in it. So we have made topical films like Wishing Holi or Independence Day and all of that. So my question here is, in the future, maybe not now, but in the future, do we see actors being replaced in the movie? Because the films that we are already working on in our industry, like my marketing industries, with different brands, and all the brands are always like, "Hame AI chahiye." Like if I'm asking, I want to get this influencer for this much cost. They are like, "But AI kar lega." So it's already the talks are happening in the industry. So like my question here is cinema also gearing up for something like that where we have no actors, we have everything that is AI?
Thank God I didn't invite an actor today.
That's why I didn't ask that to Soha, ma'am.
I shot a couple of ad films in my, and I pretty much run the ship on my set, and people, it's either my way or no other way. I mean, sorry, but because the product I'm making is what represents me, and that's what I'm selling to the audience. But surprisingly, when I did ad films, my assistants were all like, "Why are you not putting your foot down?" and all. I honestly felt that was something used to sell another product. It's not the product. The ad film, what they know how to sell their product much better. It's something that helps in selling the product. It's not the product that's being consumed. So if, I don't know how it works with you all, I don't know that, because you put a celebrity, you get more eyeballs. Does it make a bad product sell? I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know this thing. But yes, but when you're talking about films, I'm not saying they won't have AI characters, and we have that. We've had that in heavy VFX films, and that's fine. But I still feel, I think people like to fall in love with people. When love happens, I mean, it's great counseling to have someone to hear you all the time, but you still want to hold a hand. So even if you're stars or you're actors, you fall in love with people. So I think, when I get your point, when you want to sell another product, maybe, I mean, I've made a newcomer film, so I can't talk about the fact that any actor got it across. But I mean, they did a great job. I'm not taking that away from them, but it wasn't the initial draw to the film. But there's a difference between marketing a thing and falling in love with the person. I mean, I still feel that in today's day and age, people have far more followers, but they're famous, they're not saleable. If you put the same guys in a movie, no one will go to a theater to watch them. They could have far more followers than many actors do. I don't think Tom Cruise has that many followers as some of the Indian influencers have, I think. So, but Tom Cruise, everyone goes all over the world to watch his film in the theater. So I think there's a different thing over here. You have to understand what the product is.
Yeah, so do you think there would be another segment in cinema with that? Rather than just eliminating the actors, do you think there could be one
be a
more?
hybrid.
Like I mentioned, that AVGC, AI will get added to that. You'll have animation films and you'll have AI films also, which are more about human stories, but we know the humans don't exist, the actors don't exist. But mainstream cinema will always have actors, because we want to connect with
Humans.
Humans. We want to connect with that emotion. And somewhere now we want to know that our superstar lives here. And my favorite superstar lives there. We want to know that they are somewhere around.
He eats like us, he walks like us, sleeps like us.
And thank God for that. No? Like in a world driven by AI, at least kuch cheez to rahegi na, jahan pe there is like a little bit of that human edge.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Krishna. This is in line with what you guys had said earlier about B2C or B2B. I feel like as a person in the creative industry, what we're currently aiming for is B2P, so business to people. Because like you said, you fall in love with a person, or you emotionally connect with a person. So whether it's the industry of cinema, other creative industries like advertising, or even something like finance, a lot of people are moving towards a business to person approach, where everything is tailored for how you feel about something rather than, so even investments, it's not about what you want to invest in, it's about how you feel about investing in a certain thing. So whether they're pushing sustainability, again, it's an idea that is new, that derives a lot of data from AI, but you still have to get to the emotions of the person to understand whether they are feeling that connection with sustainability, with the environment, and that's the only way to get them to invest in it, whereas something else might be more profitable. So I feel like where we are coming from as the creative industry, we are doing a lot of B2P, and that's where we are investing time, money and effort, along with learning all of the AI tools to ensure we can do research. So not a question, but an opinion.
A perspective. Thank you. Yeah. The mic.
Hello. Hi. I am a singer and an aspiring actor also. Professionally, I'm into equity, commodities, and textiles. And I already started my AI journey 6 months back. So, I mean, as we are trying to study AI also is trying, just a suggestion, perspective that I had. As we are trying to study AI also trying to study us. I remember that Gary Kasparov, when he played against the Deep Blue, he won the first game, but he lost the remaining 3 games. So, this is also important.
No, I think that's a very interesting point that you make, because one of the biggest, or probably the biggest strength that AI has is that it is continuously learning. So we may see, as humans, we are very conditioned by this immediacy or urgency thing that, what is our recent experience, or, that really drives us. And I think it's a very important point that, AI is constantly learning. And I will just maybe offer another perspective that, see, there are 3 layers of AI. There is the macro layer, which is the data of the world, which is the foundational models, which is the ChatGPT type of things. There is something that sits on top, the enterprise or the domain data. Yeah. And then there is on top, there is the individual data. Yeah. And with AI, AI is not one thing. AI is all of that, and there is a constant data flow that is happening. I think we need to understand that, because anything, which is constantly compounding, is going to do better. Just, a couple of years back, like Google Maps, or at least in the US, that you would say, okay, no, as a driver, I know this. It may not still be the case for the Indian cities, I see that, but at least in the US, now Google Maps or Apple Maps has reached a point, where even if I'm taking a 5-minute drive, I will put that on. Yeah, so I think it's something, we need to recognize.
But sometimes Google Maps also lead you to the wrong places. Sometimes, very rarely also, it does lead you to the...
I think you will not find that in markets, where Google Maps is...
That's what he said, no? In India, it's different.
I think India, the road digging starts faster.
And 2 movies on AI are also done wonderfully well. Like Robot and Teri Baathoon Mein Uljha Diya, they both had some to do with AI. Robot also did very well financially, and in Teri Baathoon Mein Uljha Diya, where Kriti Sanon...
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Shayanti Banerjee. I'm a professional anchor and an influencer. I've been a journalist also. So the fact that I'm giving a backstory is because all these decisions in my life I have taken with my heart. But is it a debate of a head and heart when it comes to AI? Because, like if I had to decide that I wanted to opt for a certain profession, and, I felt at that point of time that that is going to give me the joy and satisfaction beyond the salary, beyond the logistics. So now, like, you all were mentioning as cinematographers and in the business of filmmaking, that you all also consult when it comes to a topic or when it comes to what is it that's going to work in terms of monetization also at the end of the day, because it's a business we are talking about. So what is it that helps you all to decide, even in the age of AI? Is it the heart or is it going back to the head?
One word, instinct.
Right.
Because definitely, before AI also, films were getting made, all the businesses were still working. They were working on the principle of like people to people, where you were taking advice from your friends, your family, your other professionals. In your case, what you're asking about is the vocational guidance. But ultimately, after taking all those decisions, it was you were being asked, "Tujhe kya karna hai?" And then you made a choice. Now, whether wrong or right, but you made a choice based on this information coming to you. The AI as a tool is only going to give you that, and I think we must take advantage of that. It's going to give you a much more research-based information and advice, and it's for you to then evaluate and take your plunge. But that's where your instinct will come in. Instinct is something that AI won't give you.
Right, and that is why I think he said correctly.
Yeah, I think every decision in life is a debate between heart and head.
Yes.
Who to marry, what job to take, everything's heart and head, right? I mean, some people do think that, no, yeah, I'm madly in love with this, but she's not right for me. This one is more stable, maybe. Everything's heart and head. Which movie to make? Which I feel like a pizza today. I feel everything, but no, the calories are this. It's okay, I'll work out. Every decision is always, I mean, if there is a heart and if there is a head, that's another thing altogether.
Also add gut.
And gut, yeah. So gut also comes in. Yeah.
Heart, head, and gut. I have a gut feeling.
See
Sometimes the decision that you don't have food to eat, so you take up any job you get.
in the AI age, I think this aspect that we are debating, head, heart, gut, instinct, becomes even more important. So the book I've written is actually about all the discussion has been about AI. Actually, the book I've written has been about the human edge, human edge in the AI age. so actually, the argument I'm trying to make, because what is human, and so I have a framework I call it possible, which just interestingly as problem solving, openness, as spirituality.
Yes.
Okay, spirituality, as sports, I impact, B balance, L leadership, E entrepreneurship. I won't go through all of that, but problem solving. Yeah, the basic argument I'm making is that in a world of machines, where a lot of the problem solving is driven by the machines, having your own problem solving ability is very important, but the edge in problem solving will come from something called wisdom. I have resisted the temptation to use gut or instinct because it's a very complex topic, because it can be right or wrong.
Yes.
Okay. And oftentimes, we think that, ye mera instinct or ye theek hai, but it is, but wisdom is something deeper. Wisdom is something deeper. Wisdom is coming from pattern recognition. Ashu and Mohit are able to make great choices. It did not happen all of a sudden. It happened because they spent years and years in this industry and going through all the process of it. So when they see something, they have a certain instinct around it. It's the wisdom. Now, the challenge that I see is that generally in this digital and AI age, that ability to reflect and build those patterns and build that wisdom is getting compromised. We don't read. Our consumption is happening through Twitter. Yeah, it is very, very bite-sized. Yeah. It does not allow us enough to reflect and build those connections. So I would just emphasize that in the AI age, that wisdom or instinct is actually a competitive advantage. Because that is something which machine will not give you. But equally, we need to recognize that the flow of the digital and the AI age is such that the natural processes that help build wisdom are getting compromised. And so we need to be more proactive and about how do we build that.
Okay,
Thank you
last
so
two
much.
questions.
Lovely thought.
Last two questions.
I think here.
Yes.
Hi. Actually, I'm part of Nitin's team, but I had this question that I wanted to ask. So, do you feel that AI as a collaborative tool, kind of expands the playing field, especially for people, for creators, for a musician who is creating a certain style of music, but then to partner that, he needs a great music video, say for example, and might not have access to people who can help him do that. So AI kind of creates something that complements the product that he has, that is his songs or his that kind of a thing. So do you think that AI can actually expands that playing field to ensure that the vision that he has with his music, maybe he's put in a kind of because for independent creators, the resources are limited, right? And therefore, and resources and access to people, to professionals, to realize their vision are limited. So therefore, do you think that AI becomes an easy, not the collaborator they need to kind of realize their vision to create a complete package? Because like, I had this band back in Calcutta, and we really put in our heart and soul to create a certain style of music, which was kind of psychedelic, industrial rock kind of a thing, kind of like David Bowie meets Nine Inch Nails kind of a sound. So we needed to create videos that kind of complements that sound, and therefore we actually ended up using generative AI at a time that this was pre-Chat GPT era that we ended up creating. At that time, they were just coming up with generative AI images. We kind of struck that together and created a video out of that. So, but I felt that was and it felt very empowering. So from that perspective, especially with people with limited access to the kind of professional skill that we need to realize, do you think that it kind of democratizes it? And Nitin really talks about the power of technology to democratize access across the world. So what are your views on that?
I think the answers in your question itself, it's not just related to music. It can even be related to every other design field or the arts or the performing arts, where there are a lot of times opportunities are not coming your way and you still want to make your presentation, you want to still make your mark. And here is the AI available to you to do that creativity. Only thing is you need to become an expert at prompts. Probably you have to learn the art of prompting. So I think definitely yes. All research-based analytics, all those firms and organizations that were giving those services might now go defunct because there are so many independent individuals who are getting that information, creating such analysis and making money out of it. So I think it's definitely a welcome tool for every field. And I really don't want to think about 25 साल के बाद actors नहीं रहेंगे.
No, exactly.
AI is going to challenge us. AI is going to take over as an intelligent. I don't worry about that.
Yeah,
because
that's my feeling
I
too,
think
yeah.
AI is snowballing. As it's growing, we will also find solutions to curb the bad aspects of AI. Right now, I can only think of only two aspects. The bad aspect and sad aspect of AI right now is, the sad aspect is displacement of jobs.
Yeah.
But that you have to learn, and people have to reinvent, readapt, recalibrate, and join the business again.
As Nitin was saying, there'll be more entrepreneurs. For all jobs lost, we will be having more entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because exactly to the point that Abhishu made, that it's AI and data and all the tools make it very easy to get started.
Exactly.
Make it very easy to get started. That's the democratizing ability, opportunity with AI. I think a lot of the conversation that we have had here is about excellence, right? And now for excellence, there's a lot that goes into it, but certainly the democratizing nature of AI is very empowering.
Exactly, because
Let's get at the question. Sorry,
I
Mohit.
just feel, especially with music, I mean, I'm telling you, this is my personal thing. Invariably, there's something on algorithm that does well for nowadays music. Mukhada should be so big. Song should not be more than 3.5 minutes. The Sayara title song didn't follow any of that. Okay, didn't follow any of that. I was even told start the groove. I said it will not start. Okay, the problem is the algorithm. See, in the end, it might help you with the production, the efficiency. But remember, that same thing is available to everybody else. How do you stand out and be special is what I think will be, because I still feel individuals are special. Humans are special. There's not one. It can only happen in movies that you find a doppelganger somewhere else. I have never seen it in people who are exactly the same. So I think that's when you make something creative, you have a voice of your own. I think what I was saying, similarly, I was having this conversation before. An algorithm is what is done well till yesterday. What will well? It's a sad song we came out with first. Everyone said, who comes out with sad? A youngster. There are no rules like these kind of things. But my question to you is, if you want to use it, and I think it was the same when the explosion came before everyone did everything live. Like recording room sizes were, I think, much larger than this, sir. And now they've slowly come to one bathroom size, basically. But that's, you had to embrace it. You had
It has
to.
nothing to do with the concept of bathroom singers. He has singers.
So what we had done is the music was.
Abhishu, let's take more questions.
I'll just add to what Mohit said. In the film industry, a lot of rules get destroyed on a Friday and new rules get made on Friday.
Absolutely.
So Friday is the defining day. One rule, golden rule, could just be gone to the dumps and a new rule would have come out on a Friday. So it's that. Yeah, you wanted to ask a question. She was generous enough to share the mic
I
with
think
somebody
she's
else
been
and then she
waiting for
lost
like
the mic.
three,
Yes.
three turns. But it'll come to you as well.
It has finally.
Thank you, sir. Hello, I'm Meenakshi Biswas, and my question pertains to this very aspect of standing out in AI-saturated times. And since I'm a part of both the worlds, both the tech world and the creative world, I'm part of Microsoft as their AI communication specialist, and I'm also an author and a fledgling scriptwriter. I know to cultivate human edge, one is, of course, you spoke about spirituality, there's empathy, but can our inherent unpredictability become that edge that helps us become disruptor for this disruptor, which is AI? Like maybe unpredictability in script writing, and even in the tech world, maybe certain happy incidents, serendipity. Is our inherent unpredictability something that we should cultivate? That's my
Absolutely.
question.
Short answer, absolutely, absolutely. I think that Mohit has been speaking about it right from beginning, before we started the conversation here. And I also mentioned it, that AI or machines are very good. They're very good critiques. They can tell you what is not going to work. Yeah. But saying that this is what is going to work needs a maverick. So, when I get to my final mantra, E, which is about entrepreneurship, yeah. So, an entrepreneurship, and which is effectively what you guys are, yeah. You're entrepreneurs because you're creators, and to be a creator, you need to be a risk taker. So, the most fundamental success formula that I see with entrepreneurship today is being a maverick. Which is kind of reimagining, going beyond the rules. And absolutely, I think we talk about the human edge in the AI, in the age of machines. I think that maverick aspect, which is very fundamental to us as humans, I think is something to be cultivated. When I was at Flipkart, we had that as one of our values, because that was the only way we could have competed or eventually beat Amazon. That you have to go out of syllabus. So I think the point you make, I would just endorse that.
Sub question. So it's always said that take moderate risks, because if you take high risk, then then you might fall. So if you try to push yourself to be too unpredictable, then you're letting go of moderate risk. So
see, I think
That's what I wanted to actually know, sir. I don't have an answer to this. I mean, your risk-taking ability doesn't, when you're conforming with a general consensus.
See, my view on this is that risk-taking, like most things, is also a muscle. What is a moderate risk for you may be a high risk for me, and vice versa. Yeah. So one of the, there is a question that asked, that I'm asked many times. Okay, so AI age, what would you tell to your younger self, and all of those kind of nice things. I would say take more risks. Take more risks. Because the more risk you take, your ability to deal with risk also increases. So initially for me, taking a bet of 100 rupees may be a risk. But once I have learned, how to take that bet, I can take 1,000 rupees and 10,000, a million and 100 million. But अगर आपने कभी एक पैसे का bet नहीं लिया और आपको फिर मैं यार 100 million का bet ले लूँगा, वो तो नहीं होने वाला ना. So risk taking is, I think that's a fundamental mindset that needs to, that we need to build, especially for the AI age. We will differentiate by risk taking, and risk taking is, we have to start taking risks. No?
So it's look after you leap.
scary, but
And while falling, check. Kaise giru?
Shoot first, then aim.
thank you.
I think that's about it.
Question, just a thing.
Please give her the mic.
It's not a question, it's just a thing. So I've been married for 16 years, and the day I met my husband, the first film we watched was DDLJ,
And then onwards, it's a thing between us that Friday night is a date night. Every Friday we have to watch movie. So, and the theaters, I stay in Dadar, so Chitra, so it's like Chitra, the seats are also fixed. That those seats only will come. So please keep making great films so that we watch more films.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. You all have been a lovely audience. And thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you, Nitin. And thank you, Mohit, once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.